All right, so as you guys can see, I got it blocked up. It took me a minute to get the right size blocks in here to get the height I wanted. I want it high enough that I can still fit gear, or I like to hunt if I need to slide an animal under there or something. My objective in building this is I wanted to be able to haul the gear that I need in here, but still be able to haul some of the things that I need to in the bed as well. One of the problems you run into when you hunt is if you shoot an animal and you put the animal in the back, the blood ends up getting all over your gear. And so if I could keep my gear in this and the animal in the bed, then when I get home I can just pull everything out, wash it out, and I'm good to go. So I've got this blocked up with 8-inch blocks, 2 4-inch pieces of square tube here, and I think I've got it figured out the way I want to do the side brackets. So I'll bring you in close here and show you guys what I got. Originally, I was thinking that I would mount these this way, but if I do that, that blocks my ratchet strap holes. So I decided I'm going to flip these over. Plus, I think that'll make it look a little more clean. So if I flip that over and I tack these here, I still have access to my ratchet strap holes here. I just think it looks cleaner. So the joint down here will be hidden underneath the bed. I like the way that looks. So I thought about doing diamond plate for these, but if I break it the way I want to break it, then the diamond will be against the diamond here, and I don't really like that. So I like the way the angle looks. Plus, I'm really considering having this powder coated black. I don't know, we'll see what it looks like when I get it done and load it up. So that's the plan. So I'm gonna roll the welder over here. I'm gonna get the ground hooked up, and I'll see if I can't get a couple tacks on these both sides, and then we'll be able to pull it off, take it over to the table and start welding these on. All right, so one thing I did do, I went ahead and polished this up, and I 45'd the corners. I just like the way it looks better. See if I can get a tack on this without burning the side-by-side down. Okay, that should be enough tacks on there. We can get it back to the table, they'll stay put, and then we'll just go ahead and start welding them out. So let's go back to the table. Okay, so I got a clamp on here. I'm gonna go ahead and put a tack on this corner and then run this whole weld to start. That'll help hold everything tight to the box. Okay, now I'm going to roll it, do the exact same thing on the other side. I was wondering if I should stitch this or weld it solid, but I'm probably just going to weld it solid. I will have to bounce around to distribute the heat. I'm actually going to flip the other side, do the same thing, and then I'll end up rolling it over and starting on these ones. But I'll come back to you guys once I'm making some headway and give you guys a look. Alright, we're going to zoom in here, give you a look. I do have our brackets marked here. So I'm going to go ahead and drill these. I've got a center pop mark where my holes need to go. So I'm going to start with an 1/8 inch drill bit. Okay. I'm going to repeat this process on the other side, and then we'll come back to you when we're ready to mount it. I'm gonna go grab some stainless steel bolts and we'll see if we can start getting this situated. All right, well, I don't have any metric stainless bolts, and it turns out those little brackets that drop into these slots are metric, and I'm still waiting for my latch, which should show up tomorrow. So once we have the hardware, once we have the latch, we should be able to knock this out. So maybe one more day and I'm hoping to have this one done. So when I get the rest of the materials, we'll catch back up to you guys. All right, guys, apologize for the noise. The compressor's running. We're gonna try to cut the lid for our side-by-side box tonight. I've got it all drafted up. It's a pretty simple design. It'll make more sense once we start breaking it. So let's cut it. So I didn't think the lid needed to be built out of quite as heavy of a material, so we built the lid out of 1/8 inch diamond plate. When I get ready to go over and break this, I'll go ahead and give you guys a look. All right, guys, we got our parameters put into our press brake here. We're gonna go ahead and try this first one. You can see I had to resituate the dies. When you're doing a box, when you do the second two sides, the corners will collide, so you have to move the dies around so that they can clear. Hopefully that makes sense. You'll see what I mean. All right, guys, let's get you up to speed here on what's going on. I've got my lid here. It's all broke. Everything's done there. I did make the 2 corner welds there. So the lid's pretty much done as far as the assembly of the actual lid. I'll get the box up here and I'll show you guys how it fits. I'm pretty happy with it. The next order of business is we need to put a piece of hinge on here. So I've cut a piece of piano hinge. If you don't know what piano hinge is, piano hinge actually comes in long lengths. I believe these ones came in 6-foot lengths. I just keep a stock of it on my rack, and I prefer stainless steel piano hinge. That way, whether it's aluminum or stainless or mild, I just feel like the stainless holds up better. And usually I end up riveting my hinges on, and the stainless holds up better to that as well. You can get aluminum piano hinge, but I don't really like aluminum piano hinge because sometimes the rivets can pull through because the aluminum's so soft. So if you get stainless piano hinge, it just holds up a lot better. All right, so let me clear the table off. I'll get the box back up here, and then we'll show you guys where we're at. All right, guys, so we got our box up on the table here. You can see our lid fits pretty dang good. There is just a little teeny bit of play there, which is good. I'd rather have a little teeny bit of play than no play at all and tight to where it's rubbing. So I think we did pretty good there. So we got our latch here. Latch fits good. The holes line up, so we'll be able to rivet that on, and that'll look nice and clean. I like that. Okay, so you'll pull the latch. It'll have some air shocks on it, so it'll open up. And it's probably only gonna open up maybe about like that. Just enough so I can get my stuff in there, my little air compressor, my tire repair kit, ratchet straps, tow rope, that kind of thing. So the next order of business is going to be attaching the hinge. I've got my little piece of piano hinge here. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is take the lid here. It's gonna mount behind this. And so I'll have to drill a couple holes and rivet this on. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a drill bit, and I'll go ahead and drill the first hole and put a rivet in it just to hold it. And then I'll just make sure to set this. You wanna set the hinge so that you don't get any rubbing on the barrel. So we'll have to drop that down just a little teeny bit, like a 30-second, just so it doesn't rub. I'm gonna grab some drill bits and the drill, and we'll drill this first hole. All right, I've got some clamps on my lid here. gonna go ahead and drill this first hole. I like to try to get between the diamonds on the diamond plate, but if you can't, you can't. That's just kind of the way it goes. So I'm gonna try to sneak this one between the two and we'll see what happens. Whew. It's kind of tricky getting that drilled through that stainless. Stainless is really hard, so you're better to go slow and hard on stainless. Okay, now I've got my Milwaukee rivet gun. We're using 3/16 by 5/8 rivets today. Bingo. So I'll probably put 4 rivets across this. My rivets are probably a little bit long, but it's better that they're a little bit too long than too short. I believe that's the shortest length I have in 3/16, and they'll work just fine. If I need to buff off a little of the rivet on the inside, I can, but you're never going to see it, so it'll be fine. I am probably going to have to buff these down just till I get to that little ball part on the rivet, just so it doesn't interfere with the back side of this and then opening and closing. So we'll go ahead and drill the rest of these, get the rivets in it, and then we'll set it down inside here and make sure that it still fits. All right, guys, we got our lid mounted here. I've got 3 rivets on the bottom and 3 rivets on the top that attach the lid. I've got the latch set on here, and I'm temporarily mounting it with some screws. It actually came with some mounting screws, but I'm not going to use screws to mount it. It's more secure if you use rivets because there's a lot less chance that somebody will have a drill and a drill bit versus somebody that might have a screwdriver. Then they could back the screws out, pull the latch, and rob you blind. So we're going to go ahead and use rivets, but just temporary so that we can mount the latch on the inside. I am attaching this with the screws that came with it. All right, so I've taken a measurement on the inside here. I've deducted this thickness. There's about a 1/16 of an inch gap between here, but I've deducted that thickness from the measurement on the inside here. I believe I need about 1.25 inch piece welded here for the latch. So I'm actually going to burn a piece, and I want it to be fairly wide, so I'm probably going to go about 2 inches wide and 1.25 inches long. I'll weld that latch piece to the lip on the inside here so that when this closes, it should latch here. And we'll have to make sure we get the height correct as well. So this could be a little tricky, but I'm going to go over and cut this out of probably 3/8 aluminum. So I'm going to go cut a piece and then I'll come back. All right, we got our piece of 3/8 plate cut here. I do have a line scribed on the inside there. Hopefully you can see it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get a tack on this on either side, and then I'll make sure that it's level this way because I can tell that it's not right now. So I'll get some tacks on it, and then I want to check it before I give her the onion. So let's see what we can do. I'm trying to decide if I want a little bit of play or not. That seems like a little bit too much. My plan was to put some like weather stripping on the inside here. That'll do 2 things. That'll help keep the water and the dust out. It'll also help with vibration. We don't want this sucker rattling or making noise while you're driving down the road. That's just obnoxious. So where I've got some play there, that's a toughie. God, it's right on my mark though. I think I might just leave it there. We want to leave some room for the foam, and I don't want to have to fight the foam. So if I get like some 1/8 inch weather stripping, I think it'll be perfect. I think I'm going to go with it. I think we're good. I'm going to go ahead and weld that out. It opens far enough. The only other thing that I think I'm gonna do is get an air shock for it, and that'll mount off to one side probably, and then I'll just, when I hit it, it'll and stay open. So now all that's left to do is to get it on the machine and check it out. While this is cooling, I'll flip the machine around. I'm gonna vacuum all the shavings out of it, and we'll give you guys one last look. All right guys, well, we got her done. Pretty happy with the way everything's laid out. Everything lines up. Screw holes are in good spot. We're not gonna have any places that rub. I didn't want it to be rubbing the bed to where it would wear a big hole in it or anything. I like the size of it. I can still access everything really easy. I like the height of the box. I'm 6 foot and I can still get in this box just fine. So I like that. I can still get in my cooler. Grab me a Pepsi. I don't have to get on my tippy toes or anything. So I'm happy with it. Hindsight 2020, if I was to change anything, I would not put these holes in here. Obviously, the cargo box built in, that was an afterthought. If that was originally my plan, I probably wouldn't have put the holes in there for ratchet straps, but it's not like they still can't serve a purpose. If I take the cooler and the gas can out, I could still strap something this way. It's still useful. I just don't know that I would have left them in there, just because it's just one more spot that dust and water could get into a cargo box. So other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. I like the height. It doesn't impede my vision. Another design that you could do with this type of machine is you could shorten up your cargo boxes so that they're like, I don't know, 16 inches maybe. If you had a 16-inch box and a 16-inch box, then you could put your cooler in the middle if you didn't want to carry a gas can. And it's honestly probably not necessary, so you could do that. I think that would look pretty cool too, to be able to have your cooler in the middle and then a box here and a box there. And to be honest, when I'm out hunting, we get in the cooler for when it's lunchtime, and if the cooler's in the middle, it's hard to reach, so you'd have to jump up in the bed. It is nice to access the cooler. I'm just saying it's another option that you could consider if you were thinking about building a box like this. The last thing that I am going to do, other than put the air shock in the box, is I'm going to go get this powder coated black. When I do get it powder coated, I'll make sure to show you guys what it looks like when it's done. All right guys, I apologize, it's been a couple weeks. It took quite a while to get this box back from powder coat. So now that I've got it back, it's all finished, it's bolted onto the machine. I've got some of my stuff in it already. So I just wanted to give you guys a look at the finished product. I didn't want to post part 2 without you guys seeing what it looks like complete. So let's go ahead and walk around this and I'll show you guys what we got. Okay, so I did get this powder coated with like a textured finish in black. The finish is really cool. It's textured and it's actually pretty thick, so I think it's gonna hold up pretty good. I did get my lockable handle riveted in, and I'll show you guys this too. Goodness, that's a little stiff to open. I did get my air shocks put in. And at first I thought this might rattle, but it seems like it's pretty good. So I'll be able to lock my stuff in there. The other thing I wanted to show you guys is I found these rubber plugs on Amazon. And you can buy these rubber plugs, all different size holes and all different thickness plate that they need to go in. But that will actually seal these up and keep dust and water from entering the box. And I think it is kind of cool to have these here, because if I wanted to strap something on the top right here, I could just pop these out and put my ratchet strap on there, and I can still strap something down on this. So I don't know if I'd do it again, but I do think this is a good solution for the situation. I think that probably about wraps this one up. I think the learnings on this one, when you're designing something like this, sometimes it's hard to think of everything up front. Sometimes you just kind of learn as you go. I know typically that's how it is with me. I usually have to screw 2 or 3 things up before I get it to where I'm somewhat satisfied. Just remember, the more planning you do in the beginning, the less kind of this stuff I think that you'll have. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks again for watching. See you on the next one.